We live in an era where every sporty SUV feels like a compromise, a heavy box trying to pretend it's a sports car. You've seen the ads, track-ready tapeability, but then you take a corner and feel like you're steering a boat. But then there's the Porsche Macan GTS. It carries the Gran Turismo Sport badge, a nameplate reserved for Porsches that balance daily comfort with raw, unadulterated speed. But here's the problem. 2026 is the year everything changes. With the electric Macan taking over the spotlight, the question isn't just, is the GTS good? It's, is this the last time we ever get a Porsche SUV that actually sounds, smells, and feels alive? Today, we're diving deep into the 2026 Porsche Macan GTS. We're going to find out if this $90,000 performance machine is the ultimate one-car solution, or if it's just a dinosaur waiting for the electric meteor to hit. We're talking 434 horsepower, a 0 to 60 that defies physics, and the legendary PDK transmission. Let's get into it.
Most SUVs in this class use a generic four-cylinder turbo that sounds like a vacuum cleaner. To get the real Porsche experience, you used to have to step up to a 911, but the Macan GTS is different. It's packing a 2.9-liter twin-turbo V6, the same fundamental engine architecture you'll find in some of the fastest Audis and even the Panamera. On paper, 434 horsepower doesn't sound like a supercar number in 2026, especially when EVs are pushing 1,000 horsepower. You might think, is this actually fast enough to justify the Porsche badge? If you're at a stoplight next to a Tesla Model Y Performance, you might feel a bit of anxiety. Can this internal combustion engine still hold its own in a world of instant torque? The answer is a resounding yes. When you engage launch control, the GTS doesn't just accelerate, it lunges. Thanks to the 7-speed PDK dual-clutch transmission, widely considered the best gearbox in the world, you hit 60 miles per hour in just 3.7 seconds. That is faster than a 911 from just a few years ago. But it's not just about the numbers, it's the way it does it. The downshifts are violent, the exhaust pops on the overrun, and that V6 howl is something no electric motor can ever replicate.
Physics says an SUV shouldn't be able to corner. It's tall, it's heavy, and the center of gravity is higher than any sports car. Usually, when you throw an SUV into a sharp bend, the tires scream for mercy and the body rolls like a ship in a storm. Porsche claims the Macan GTS is the 911 of SUVs. That's a massive claim. If they're wrong, it's just an overpriced Audi Q5. If the steering feels numb or the suspension feels floppy, the GTS badge is a lie. Can Porsche's engineers actually trick your brain into forgetting you're sitting 6 inches higher than a sedan? They didn't just trick physics, they rewrote the rules. The GTS comes standard with air suspension that sits 10 millimeters lower than the S model. Combined with Porsche Active Suspension Management, the car stays eerily flat. When you turn the wheel, the front end bites with a precision that's genuinely shocking. You can feel what the front tires are doing through the steering wheel, something almost no other SUV offers. It doesn't feel like a fast SUV. It feels like a heavy hot hatch that's been hitting the gym.
Step inside and you're greeted by a cockpit that screams driver-focused. You've got the signature central tachometer, the GT Sport steering wheel, and a mix of leather and race techs. It feels expensive because it is. However, there's a catch. While the new electric Macan is getting triple screen layouts and futuristic tech, the gas-powered GTS is still using an older interior architecture. You've got a 10.9-inch screen that's good, but not 2026 cutting edge. And then there are the haptic touch buttons on the center console. They look sleek when the car is off, but the moment you start driving, they become fingerprint magnets that require you to take your eyes off the road. Is this interior a classic, or is it starting to show its age? It's a classic. While other brands are moving towards iPad on a dashboard designs, the Macan GTS feels like a cockpit. Everything is built around the driver. The 18-way adjustable sports seats are arguably the best in the business, holding you tight during spirited driving while remaining comfortable for a 500-mile road trip. Yes, the tech isn't as flashy as a Mercedes, but the build quality is on another level. Nothing creaks, nothing rattles, and every material feels like it was chosen to last 30 years, not 3. You aren't buying a GTS just to go fast. You're buying it because you need to live your life. You've got groceries, maybe a dog, and definitely some friends who need a ride.
This has to be your only car. Here's the reality check. The Macan is a compact SUV. The coupe-like roofline that looks so good from the outside has a major downside: rear seat space. If you're over 6 feet tall, sitting in the back is going to be a struggle. And the trunk? It's 17.2 cubic feet. For comparison, some hatchbacks have more room. Is the utility in this sport utility vehicle actually non-existent? It's tight, but it works. The Macan GTS excels as a personal luxury car. If you're a couple or a small family, the space is perfectly adequate. The rear seats fold flat, and the air suspension can actually lower the rear of the car at the press of a button to help you load heavy items. It's not a suburban hauler like the Cayenne, but it fits into tight city parking spots where a bigger SUV would be a nightmare. It's the ultimate city dweller's Porsche. You've saved up the $90,000 to $110,000 for the sticker price. You think the hard part is over. You're ready to enjoy the prestige of the crest. Then comes the first service, or a set of tires, or a brake job. The Porsche tax is very real. We're talking $400 for an oil change at the dealership and $2,000 for a set of high-performance rubber that might only last 15,000 miles if you have a heavy right foot. And let's talk about fuel. That twin-turbo V6 is thirsty. You'll be lucky to average 19 mpg. Can your wallet handle the GTS lifestyle? While the running costs are high, the Macan GTS has a secret weapon: resale value. Porsches, especially GTS models, hold their value better than almost any other luxury vehicle. While a Range Rover or a BMW X3 might lose 50% of its value in 3 years, the Macan GTS stays stubbornly expensive on the used market. You pay more to run it, but you lose way less when it's time to sell. It's the smartest, stupid financial decision you can make. The Macan GTS doesn't exist in a vacuum. You've got the BMW X3M competition, the Mercedes-AMG GLC 63, and the Alfa Romeo Stelvio Quadrifoglio. All of them are fast. All of them are loud. The BMW has more power. The Mercedes has a flashier interior. The Alfa is more exotic. If you're just looking at a spreadsheet, the Macan GTS actually looks like it might lose. It has less horsepower than the BMW and a higher price tag than almost everyone else. Why would anyone choose the slower, more expensive option? Because the Macan GTS is the only one that feels like a cohesive machine. The BMW X3M is so stiff it'll break your spine on a bumpy road. The Mercedes can feel a bit digital and disconnected. The Macan GTS is the only one that manages to be a perfect 10 out of 10 in every category. It's comfortable when you want to cruise and a monster when you want to drive. It doesn't try to win on spec sheets. It wins on the road.
German reliability is a phrase that can either mean it'll last forever or it'll be in the shop every month. The Macan has been around since 2014, so we know exactly what goes wrong. There are horror stories: timing chain cover leaks that require the entire engine to be pulled out, transfer case issues that cause the car to shudder under acceleration, PDK sensor failures that can lead to a $15,000 transmission replacement. If you're buying this car to keep past the warranty, are you walking into a financial trap? Here's the good news. By 2026, Porsche has fixed almost all of those early year bugs. The 2.9-liter V6 is a robust engine, and the transfer case issues were largely solved with a design update and better fluid. If you buy a 2026 model, you're getting the most refined, bulletproof version of the Macan ever made. It's the Goldilocks year. All the performance, none of the first-gen headaches.
We started this video asking if the Macan GTS is the last of its kind. As we move toward a world of silent, heavy electric SUVs, the GTS stands as a monument to what we're losing. Is it worth $100,000? That's a lot of money for a compact SUV. You could buy a base 911 for that. You could buy 2 Teslas for that. Is the badge and the exhaust note really worth 6 figures? It's worth every penny. The Macan GTS isn't just a car, it's an experience. It's the only vehicle that can take you to work in total silence and luxury, and then take the long way home through a canyon road and make you giggle like a kid. It is the perfect blend of German engineering and raw emotion. If you want the best handling SUV ever made before they all go electric, this is your last chance. The Porsche Macan GTS is a bit of a contradiction. It's an SUV that thinks it's a sports car, a luxury cruiser that wants to be on a track, and a sensible purchase that is completely over the top. But as production of the internal combustion Macan winds down, these cars are going to become legends. Will you be the person who got to experience the peak of gas-powered SUVs, or the person who waited too long and ended up with a silent EV? If you enjoyed this deep dive into the Macan GTS, make sure to hit that like button. It really helps the channel out. Subscribe for more no-nonsense car reviews, and let me know in the comments below. Would you take this GTS over the new electric Macan, or is it time to move on to the future? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.